Oh,
Deadly.
see? Most of our culture was learnt from our ancestors and our elders. And every time an elder passed on, well, there was a book of knowledge gone for us. A lot of what I know, I learnt from elders.
We never got told stories from a book. No, it was just family stories passed on.
Be talking about somebody, and then you go, oh, you know, remember when da-da-da-da-da, and it'll all just come out.
Once you learn about these things, then you got that in here all the time, or up here. So if you listen carefully, you'll learn about it, because there was a young boy, he got lost in our forest out here. He actually saved himself by doing things what he learnt from Noongar people. He stayed warm and all at night, and to stop him from the sun, he plastered mud all over his face so he didn't get sunburnt. And he listened and heard the stories of Noongar people, and the next morning they actually found that young fella still alive.
Uncle Mort Hansen has showed us today in the stories that he and Viv were telling us about the land that we're walking on here today, the strong connection to culture and identity.
If it's a book, showing them the pictures so they can see at the same time as listening, or get them to read it back, getting them involved in the story as well.
Carter climbed on the big rock, looked over at the valley below and saw Koorlungkas in the tree. Can anyone make a Koorlungkas noise for me?
It's all about your connection to family, your connection to country, your connection to where you are.
Those two knowledge systems can collide, where we can have the ancient oral narratives as well as using that bridge into literacy and using stories to help us learn to read. And the power of the oral stories that the elders were telling was then replayed by the children.
First you gotta put it on a fire and you gotta let it warm up a little bit. Next when it goes red you take it off, and next you just grab like something hard and you just crack it open and you get to eat the seeds. We made scrambled eggs with the emu egg.
When they make a noise like once, that means they're hungry and thirsty, so you have to get some emu food and some water.
You know, the oral story from an elder, the children listening with their eyes and their ears, taking in the information, bridging that into their own play, into their pretend play. They ran off into the bush, they painted themselves with some charcoal from the trees and were creating new narratives and new stories. So all of those skills are interrelated, and we saw that in perfect harmony today.
I think it's important that we continue to have that interaction, sitting around the table, listening to our nans and pops yarning and sharing lots of the stories.
My mum one night, her and my dad had a bit of a tiff, so mum goes walking down the road in the dark, and then she saw this person coming towards her.
Wasn't it the one where they walked into each other but then
Yes.
it went through them?
That's right.
Yeah, it went through her.
So this is her old nana, her great-grandmother she's talking about now, my mum. And as you can see, she's 7 and that story's been passed down. But my mum was walking down the road and she saw this figure coming towards her that looked like her mum. And she shouted, "Mum, where you going? You know, Mum, Mum." And as they got closer and closer, the figure just walked straight through her.
A child's never too young to have a story told to them. A child's never too young to have a story read to them. Every time a parent or a caregiver or a brother or sister or auntie or pop talks to a bub, that lights their little brain up, helps their thinking, helps their talking, helps their learning.
Storytelling is one of the main things in life. Stories of the land, of the animals, the birds, go right down to the bluegum trees, which mean a lot.